How do I stop the race to the bottom pricing on Amazon and other marketplaces? Minimum advertised pricing, MAP, is becoming very difficult for brands to control. The problem stems from unauthorized third-party retailers, TPRs, operating in online marketplaces like Amazon, Walmart.com, and eBay. They typically get products through illicit channels like employee theft or distributor leakage. They then sell the products online far below MAP and still realize an impressive profit. In a recent study, 46% of TPRs reported believing that none of their sales were subject to MAP. This practice has a domino effect across the sales channel. Many authorized brick-and-mortar retailers offer price-matching services. In order to compete with unauthorized TPRs, traditional stores now have to violate a brand's MAP policies to earn sales. To make matters worse, marketplaces like Amazon may also compete for sales. One of Amazon's primary objectives is offering the lowest prices anywhere. Amazon makes so much money off its TPR program and other initiatives that it doesn't necessarily need to turn a profit off the products it sells directly through its site. Amazon is actually willing to lose money on the sale of products in order to preserve its lowest price reputation. Amazon will price match low prices sold on other websites on the internet and use monitoring tools to change those prices multiple times per day. This ongoing price war is known as the race to the bottom. So, how do brands stop the race to the bottom? Effective e-commerce enforcement. Here's how you do that. Number 1. Use a multidisciplined team that understands all aspects of enforcement. Effective e-commerce enforcement takes a multidisciplined team. The e-enforce team, for example, has the following professionals and capabilities: computer programmers and engineers, continual monitoring for unauthorized sales occurring across the globe, data analysis that prioritizes sellers for immediate takedown, development of and constant upgrades to state-of-the-art enforcement and identification tools, proprietary database of over 150,000 top retailers known to repeatedly engage in illicit sales and sophisticated hiding techniques, former law enforcement and licensed cyber investigators, fully licensed investigators with clearances to access law enforcement and private investigator databases, trained by law enforcement, proprietary OSINT, open source intelligence tools to help pierce anonymity. Number 2. Commit your entire team to the enforcement effort. Brands that have the entire company aligned on the issue of e-commerce enforcement have the greatest success in those efforts. When we work with these companies, we work hand in hand with executives, attorneys, brand protection managers, and sales and marketing managers. Everyone on the team contributes. Results happen faster and last longer. Number 3. Prioritize offenders. It's not unusual for our initial monitoring efforts to unearth hundreds of unauthorized sellers impacting one brand. It's not always efficient to target all of them at once. Our proprietary data analysis tools prioritize those unauthorized sellers having the worst impact on your brand, and we target them for enforcement efforts first. Number 4. Pierce online anonymity. Unauthorized TPRs selling in marketplaces like Amazon are able to do so using fictitious storefront names. They are never required to reveal their true identities to consumers or to the brands they're exploiting. The marketplaces make billions of dollars of their TPR programs and thus have no incentive to help brands learn their true identities. Without identification of the actual people operating those storefronts, it is nearly impossible to put a stop to illicit sales. e-enforce has the tools and the licensed investigators to figure out their names, home and work addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, and social security numbers. Once real people are identified, true enforcement efforts can begin against them personally. Number 5. Escalated enforcement. Different unauthorized sellers need different levels of enforcement. Small-time mom-and-pop sellers may go away after receiving the first cease and desist C&D demand. More sophisticated sellers often need greater pressure. C&D notices sent to them personally at their home and business addresses. If they don't stop illicit sales, we next send draft federal court complaints alleging claims like trademark infringement and unfair business practices. Most sellers give up at this point. The threat of a federal court lawsuit can also be leveraged to learn the identities of each unauthorized seller's product sourcing. If the seller still doesn't cooperate, a lawsuit is filed against them personally. Number 6. Stop the whack-a-mole. Once we have removed a seller, we continually monitor to ensure that they comply. If they come back in any way, the brand is notified and the seller is notified that they are not in compliance. Thus, we are not starting all over again, but picking up where we left off in enforcement. This helps stop the continual game of whack-a-mole against the same sellers. The race to the bottom only stops when a brand gets serious about e-commerce enforcement. The good news is, once you get a few successful enforcement initiatives under your belt, your brand will earn a reputation as a brand that shouldn't be messed with. If illicit sellers believe it is too hard to deal with your brand, they won't sell your brand.